All right, hey guys, we are now in here. Kira has tore out all the existing wood and she's cleaning up her mess. This wood over here, we're putting a preservative on, so it's going to be okay. It's actually solid. There's just a little coloration that's in it, but all of this is a reframe. None of this previously existed. So I'm doing a reframe of what they had was just, believe it or not, just a simple layer paneling bowed with a few blocks behind it, a few little squares that just were kind of glued to the aluminum, and it was easily moved around. So we went ahead and tore that out. It had a little bit of water damage, but not bad. And I replaced it with 2x2s and 1x3s. So it's all curved in there nice. And what I'm doing is I'm shooting foam in behind all of it to make them solid. I went ahead, they are all the way through over here, and I got screws on the outside, but they still want to move because it's a single screw, and then these have the brackets on them. So we're working on this. I'll show you the finished product of this as soon as I get a chance. She does a tear out, and she's got the grinder and cut all the staples even. All the wiring is ready. I think she marked the wiring, I hope. All right, and I'm continuing on with the framing. I had to wait for that wood restore chemical stuff to get into that, and we've got it framed in there and up at the top. Now we're going to stick frame it down and across so that we can put the metal out here in front. Hey guys, we are working on a second feature here where I'm taking a piece of 3/4 plywood and we're going to install it into this corner. So it's 2 feet wide, it's a half of a sheet, and cut to the height, snug, to go at the top and the bottom. Now, what we're working with is point-to-point cutting. So we're going to have correspondence levels that are from the marks that you'll see right down there, right in there, and down at the bottom, at the point where it's extreme, and then of course different marks like right there that'll be up in here. And the way that it works is you're going to use the corner of the level. Now I've leveled this board out, leveled the trailer out so that we're all equal here. And using the level, I will set it up and get it level, and I draw a line. So you'll have a line going right there. Now, as my distance increases for my cut or decreases over here, I've drawn a little bit longer line, as you can see there. And then down there to the center point, which is this point, little sharp point up in the front, and you can see that that's a level spot also. Now, the way that it works to cut this in here like this, and then a small piece of cardboard to cut in a template for that point, we will take the tape measure here, and I'll show you that up here in the front, I am exactly 19 3/8 of an inch to my point. So what I've got to do here is catch the next one at exactly 19 3/8 of an inch, right there on the line. And then this one higher up, you see the angle increases to 19 3/8 of an inch, keeping the distance the same as that furthest point all the way up. When I get up in here to where it goes to this, starts the angle, which is about right here at this point, of course we'll have to take a piece of cardboard and make a template. But this allows me to get my distance all exact, so I can lay this board down and cut it once and slide it in, and it'll be snug, and then we will support and restructure this whole wall using 3/4 plywood, and then the regular paneling will go over it. It'll be the only area that's not super insulated, but the density of 3/4 plywood is pretty good for insulation too. So, and it'll also be fully insulated between that and the metal. And we'll repeat this process over here where we have a little bit of damage that the epoxy went into. So you can see down in there, there's the epoxy stuff, and it's strong now. You can hit it real hard and it don't move. And then up in here we put that wood stuff that's up in there, the epoxy 7 or 11 or whatever it is, and it's hardened that up. The rest of this is just a matter of finishing off. So I'll get these marked out and show you the lines drawn, and you'll get it how we're building this. We're going to be showing all the stripping that goes down through here with the 1x to add the additional strength and insulation value. All right, now the points have been connected, and you can see how well they came out. Look how they hit. Absolutely right on the money and very straight. So I just kind of free-handed that up there. So I'm going to run that a little bit with a jigsaw so I can get it as close as possible, and I might actually be able to scribe that, and I can show you how to scribe that by just putting a point on this and then drilling a hole and putting a marker through the hole or a pin, and then you can just kind of scribe it, but you have to get a little closer to make that happen more effectively, just due to the fact that it is a odd curve. There is the outcome of it, and we're going to go ahead and cut that, and you'll see the piece. All right, now what we've done is we went ahead and made our copy for the other side, and other than our 2x, it'll be placed in here for nailers so that you can have the surface for paneling to be nailed to. We have the one that we started with, and we used it as a template on the other side, and it is a nice tight fit. And you can see that board over there. That'll be a nailer also when we get them put in. And we'll run additional nailers of 1x2 blocks up in here. But once this is installed, there will be, and I'm just using this little piece as a example here, there will be a 2x2 or possibly a 2x3 added right here. And then after that's put on, we will be running our strips that will go on the outside of the wall, and they will go down to, because we're actually beefing this whole thing up, you can see this doubled, so everything here will be doubled and then screwed to the floor through here as well as into here. Nailed and stapled will be, or screwed and stapled will be this strip, and then on top of it will be that strip running up, and I'll line them up there crossing the existing. So you'll see how that joint's just made with some staples, and I threw a few in there to tighten it up, but that's just all it's made with. So we'll have a connection here as well as onto that one, and same thing here. And the whole trailer will be done that way on 16-inch centers. Now the 16s will not hit everywhere. Some will be here and other places, but like in the window, we'll run a 2x2 up behind it to make it all strong and stout. So what we end up with is we end up with occasional staggering of the joints, but 16-inch centers. And then you have your plywood here that makes the nose of this trailer super strong and capable of everything it needs to be doing, as well as a mounting surface for cabinets that'll mount back in here again, and other things that we're going to be using in here. As that is now framed out there, we will have a small window, tiny window in here, about a 12x6, just for ventilation, a little tiny RV windows. And over here where Daniel's at, he's holding that one up. That one is the copy of this side here. In the same process of frame out over surface framing will be done with a bottom piece as well as these pieces, and everything will overlap, as you'll see here. So that is going to go in, and then this on top of it, and you'll see the multiples of overlap for strengthening. And there, and that gives us a very stout wall with about an R9 to R10, hopefully achieved insulation value in most of the trailer, a good 85-90%. The floor is already getting refoamed, so it's going to be an R16 again, and the rest of this will be fiberglass with the foam over the surface of it, so that we have a high level of insulation in the whole trailer. Y'all look towards the rest of this. We're going to show you some of the stick framing and the door and metal going in the next video. And this is just an update for people who are wanting to know what we're doing and how we're doing it, and how we're going to turn a former wreck of a trailer into a very functional, useful 27-foot long cargo trailer. Highly insulated with a heating unit. I'll show you that later in another video, and an air conditioner that'll fit right back here, cool this whole trailer for 5,000 BTU. Okay, now the design that we came up with was to use the 1x3s running all the way up and hitting these furring strips that are also 1x3s that are running across the ceiling. Now we shot them in with 1.5 inch staples, 1/4 crown, and we also put screws in on 1 foot intervals, 1 5/8 that went up into the original wood that is up here for the rafters. And it is completely rigid now. This whole setup is rigid now. Down here on the bottom, we have a 1x2. We have a screw going down into the plywood floor, and in the second floor underneath it, it's a 3-inch screws, and we have it staple shot into the old stuff as well as off into the new. We doubled the 2x2s so that we have more material in the walls to attach to, and this is how it came out. So it is just solid now. This thing was really flexible with their construction methods of nothing but a few staples from here and there. Very flexible. So now it is extremely solid. The roof has been resealed and taken care of. So these are on 16-inch centers, each one of these going across. And that'll allow us to put our 3/4 inch foam in between here right on the surface of this wood. And we're not worried about moisture, it'll be well ventilated. But everything is coming along as far as the frame out, and had to put a little bit of 1/4 inch furring material to get my plywood curve that will go in there for my paneling. But from right here in the middle here of this header going down will be Luan, the 1/4 inch. So will the front will be 1/4 inch or 3/8. We want to make it stout so we have things to mount for cabinets and things. The rest of this is in the process, and we have come a long way to getting it completely framed back up. A lot of new wood in it, and it is so stout now that when you get up on the roof, you could jump on the roof and this thing doesn't move at all. So big improvement, big improvement. So the benefit of this is that by using these and shooting in screws every foot, it actually makes like a T-joist in a way for the ceiling joists that are running across there, the rafters, I guess you call them. And that gives us ultimate strength. This also helps us tie the inner outer wall corners together. Now there is on the Holiday Rambler that metal piece that's actually tying it all together, but we made it even stronger. Everything from this moment out will be, just like over here, 16-inch centers, unless otherwise like that door in the way, or Daniel in the way. We have to build around him sometimes. And this will be here, and then we start with our 16-inch centers again here, and you can see it staggered off the original, but it is screwed to it and stapled to it. And then our next one will be about right here. And then of course the frame out for the fender that is being done for the wood structure of the fender, that's being done, and that one's just going to be a plywood because we don't have a heavy machine going on that side. And the reason is because this is the passenger side of a car or a trailer, and this is the driver's side. Now, if you've driven down the highway, you notice that on the highway, your vehicle, so that water runs off, is like that. Now, we don't want to put all that weight on this side, because if you go off on the gravel or something off the roadway, that would be not very nice. So we are having plenty of weight over here, but this fender well here is going to have that structural steel with that big metal bending unit on it. It will put 200 more pounds when we're done on this side of the trailer than that side of the trailer. Should help it track a lot nicer. All right, guys, there it is. We're working towards the back, one piece at a time, and all this inner framing is done. We're putting the fiberglass back in next, putting the metal outside to close it in. That is the Holiday Rambler converted into a cargo trailer. Look forward to the next video where we'll be putting the skin on and showing you how we made that work out.